I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I live today, the Gubbi Gubbi, Kabi Kabi people, and the Jinnabara people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. Hi. So this week's video is not as much arting as last week at all, and so that's how it goes around here. Sometimes there's a huge flurry of art making, and then there's like the aftermath of that, the messy studio that needs to be put back together. And I'm going away this coming weekend to a little kind of a retreaty place. I don't know, I might take some little video while I'm there. It's Philip's birthday next Monday, and we have started a new thing. We both grew up where birthdays they didn't get made a fuss of very much. Well, not every year, that's for sure. And so we're trying to make our birthdays way more special now. So we usually go and stay somewhere nice for a couple of days. So that's what we're going to do. And so this video has got a little visit to, I say a lot. There's a lot of little things that go to making a big life, I think. I show you my second visit to Urban Sketches, and a little walk on the beach. So it's a kind of quiet one this week. I started out, I think I may have taken a photo. Whether I'll share it on this one or not, I'm not sure. Maybe not. I have the feeling I need the sort of before and after thing. I'm in the middle of, as I say, trying to clean up the studio and just noticing how tired that can make me. It's like energetically, I can sense that I've got a lot going on with the holding on up to the things, and it's just, you know, I'm always on that kind of quest to help understand myself and kind of make sense of life and how I'm doing it. You know, you can, like, self-improvement is one way of looking at it, but just helping to understand and be more empathetic to yourself helps so much in life in general. And so I find in the artist journey just so many things that are pertaining to all of life come up in our art practice. So many things. There's, like, you know, so when you look after yourself and how you make art, you then look after yourself how you be in the world. So so with that in mind, I felt actually almost sort of embarrassed to take photos and video of the studio when it was in such a mess. But I'm observing that, and this whole making these videos is all about, for me, to be able to be as real and natural as I can, because it's then benefiting me to grow my confidence in speaking publicly, I suppose. It's very different when you're only speaking to the camera. I actually find it hellish to speak publicly in groups out loud in front of people. But yet I find talking to the camera is not as difficult for me. I was on my walk, a little walk this morning, another little thing, a walk this morning, and I was thinking about Sark and how she shares that even from a very small age, she loved doing show and tell. And she didn't mind going into the other classrooms with bigger kids and telling them about her weekend and magical things that she'd discovered. And I definitely was not like that. It was terrible whenever I had to speak in front of the class. I'd go beetroot red and want to die. So it's interesting to observe myself creating videos now and speaking out. What else was I going to say about that? I guess that this idea of vlogging and sharing video is a bit like show and tell. So this is like grown-up show and tell, and all over YouTube there are artists and makers sharing how they make things, and sometimes the thinking behind it. And this week YouTube dropped in a couple of videos by the Unexpected Gypsy. And I hadn't heard of her before, but that was quite lovely to watch a couple of her videos too. And I'm conscious to watch a few and enjoy, and then pause, keep doing what I'm doing, and not run around looking at dozens of how other people are doing it, because I think that can be very derailing, because then the comparison can creep on. So oh, and I wanted to mention these very beautiful earrings made by Teresa's easel. I love them so much. She was wearing a pair just like this when I saw her last. She's a friend of mine. She lives on the Sunshine Coast, and she does enameling workshops as well. But she was wearing a pair just like this, and I noticed that they were odd, different marks on each side, and I just loved them so much, because I thought, oh, they'll go so beautiful with navy things and denim. And I picked up a canvas from her place the other day, and she surprised me with these. So that was really beautiful. So this is the chaos that I sometimes create within. And it's embarrassing in a way to share this with you, but I'm doing this as an experiment and thinking, all right, what if I share the mess, and then with the hope that I might be able to show you the before and after. So this is what we've got happening at the moment. Quite chaotic. Good morning, Kiwana Beach. There's my family. So this is the view from where I am now. I was at the end of the jetty to begin with when I sketched Philip earlier. So this was my second trip to join Urban Sketches, and I'll share some little pictures of this area. And so this time Philip, my husband, came with me, and so I realized I wasn't quite into just painting nature or drawing nature. So I did this rough drawing of him, And then as I was trying to add some pen to it, some children came down with their mum and started throwing a big net over the side of this. This was a concrete platform. They were throwing it over the side and catching little wee fish and sort of splashing water around. So I felt a little dismayed and had to get up and move. But I have to say, I got a little impatient with these sweet two boys that came down to do some fishing. And they were throwing a net in right next to me, and they pulled up these teeny weeny fish and they were jumping all around on the jetty, and they didn't bother putting them back in, but the mum did. And I was thinking, and then he splashed water all over my book, and I thought, okay, so I'm just going to move. So I had to move, and I took myself down the other end of the jetty, and it was sort of buggy. And then I did sort of close-ups of leafy things, you know, and I kind of enjoyed those shapes more. I realised how impatient I am sort of with myself with drawing, sketching out in nature. It's I was going to say it's not my happy place. It is, but if I can not listen to the critic that it's all not good enough and just be in the moment, it's quite peaceful. But I've sort of already lost interest, and so I've switched over into just enjoying the scenery, just enjoying it's very peaceful. And there's an interesting bird noise, which I'm wondering if it's a tawny frogmouth sort of owl. So hopefully that'll come on and do its thing while I'm here talking to you. So yeah, that's kind of, that's what's happening for my second time at urban sketching. It's funny because it doesn't feel very urban, so I'm a little confused. But yeah. And then I went up close to some mangroves, and I really enjoyed, there were these tiny little white type buddy things. And so drawing those shapes made me feel kind of happy. And then I got looser there. And then I was turning around kind of, you know, we're only about half or an hour into the thing, because you get there at 9:30 and we were to meet at 11. So I had a whole wide hour opening up in front of me. And this was just in part of a densely busy foresty thing. And I just loved this piece. And then that was when I had my chair halfway down the jetty looking back, and there was some workmen in fluoro gear right at the back there. So it's sort of a little bit wonky, but it's kind of, you know, it's something. I got something down, and I kind of like the way it takes you into it. So that was my second little visit to Urban Sketches. I can tell I'm feeling a bit antsy because there's quite a bit I need to do this week, and I still want to make a little video. because I want to keep this YouTube thing going. I'm really enjoying it. But I just noticed how I likened it to keeping a sourdough starter alive, and how you have to look after it every day or it will die. And so it's not every day that you have to do YouTube, but I think it generally is weekly that works best. But I don't actually, I don't have things done in advance. You know, like start before you're ready type thing was really what I did. I didn't have like a backlog of little videos that I could be popping in week after week. I'm like almost in real time, sort of week to week at this moment. I think it might change at some point, but rather than giving it up or stopping, I might just sometimes make smaller ones with a little more chatting, so that I just keep the momentum, and hopefully there's little gems in each one for you anyway. And so this I've got, and I'm still in the middle of trying to tidy, and so I've got these sketches that are just sort of running around, and I thought, oh, how can I put them in the sketchbook? But I sort of don't want to, I've only got a few pages left. So I thought what I could do is put them in like this, and then I can put something else behind them. Especially at the moment, I think I have a lot going on in my head, and I want to, and my throat doesn't want to talk clearly. Yeah, I think I'll have a lot going on in my head, and so I think I might need to do quite a bit more writing. So what I could do is write, and then I could pop these over the top. So, you know, sometimes when you want to write really vulnerably, having a little covering over that vulnerable writing makes you feel a little more secure about it. You know, it's just little things that can help you. Well, they help me anyway. So I'm partway through cleaning out the studio, and you know, I spent a lot of Friday, in between interrupting myself and distracting and all that, a lot of Friday doing part of it. But I'm really curious as to why I find it so draining. And so listening to Tara Brach, we sometimes call it church, Tara Church. Philip and I listen to a podcast of Tara Brach often on a Sunday morning. And she often comes back around to her process called RAIN. And that's, I'll write it. I'll write the RAIN, what they mean. I'll write it when I edit this, because I can't think of it this moment. But one of her hugest premises is to be radically self-accepting, and to just be really kind to the one in you that is having the difficulty, and making yourself wrong or having a hard time or something. So yeah, and I know that for myself, it's really true that I respond so much better by loving and caring my way through something rather than scolding. You know, like, I think sometimes we were raised in ways that, you know, that punishment type encouragement, that we'd do something for fear of repercussions or whatever. But it's not very life enhancing at all. And so the idea that I find the kindest way possible to make the progress that I want to make, it seems to make all the difference. So, oh, and I thought I'd show you too that behind me I found these, you know, they've been languishing with their backs turned. There's a series of 6 panels that have showed back up, and it's really interesting when you leave something for quite a long time. There's quite a few aspects of those 3 at the top that I sort of enjoy. I'm enjoying all the differences, and when I think about the abstract work that I've been creeping into, there's lots about that I'm enjoying. So I'm not sure where to take it. Again, you see, when you're learning something new, they're not sure where to take it and worried that you'll ruin everything that you had and have to begin again. it's circling with these pieces. So it'll be interesting over the coming, I don't know, weeks and months. So I'll see when I can choose to revisit them and see if I can finish them. But I'm aware that, you know, there's different times and zones and feelings of physicality, the timing of what's happening around me, what's required from external, and then what is wanting to come through and to be created. So yeah, it's interesting that I don't know whether some people can just come into the studio and decide I'm going to resolve these today, or if, like me, I think I need to work my way towards that. You have to build up the confidence to make those bold moves. So what does that take? What does it take to get you from the really reluctant hesitancy and the idea that I actually don't know how to resolve those, to changing the story? Oh, what if I did know how to resolve those? I'm looking forward to when I can resolve those, and what will that look like? And it's so interesting on any given day, what is in the gap between there and there. So that's my kind of wonderings this morning. It's Monday morning, and I think I wished and hoped and dreamed that I would have such a flurry on last Friday that I would have cleaned this all up and it would be ready to go today. That's not really the case, and I have to do some housework stuff this week because we're going away on the weekend, and we have a beautiful friend comes and minds the house and aura. So my time will have to be split between house stuff and studio stuff. Okay, so I think that's about it for today, and thanks so much for visiting. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.